Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching NDTV and this is the last word. So there's politics of religion and there's politics of religiosity. But when it comes to the Ram temple, the opposition is trying hard to not upset the Ram Bhakts, even as it has strongly declined the invite to be part of the Ram temple consecration slated to happen on the 22nd of January. While the Congress has officially declined the offer to be part of the Ram Mandir inauguration ceremony in Ayodhya, its Uttar Pradesh unit and many other leaders offered prayers in the holy city today, making it clear that they are not against the temple. Even as parties like Samajwadi Party and Aam Aadmi Party have been critical in the way BJP has handled the temple issue, they are putting in place their own plans to safeguard themselves and their politics on the perceived rise of religious sentiment across the country. For instance, the Aam Aadmi Party has decided to have Sundarkand recitals in all 70 assembly constituencies of Delhi. Meanwhile, Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav is reported to have said that he, along with his family members, would visit Ayodhya after the inaugural ceremony of the temple, but will not be part of the January 22nd event. Former Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray, whose party is a key constituent of the opposition alliance, has also decided not to take part in the grand Ayodhya event. Instead, he has said that he will offer puja at Panchvati, where Lord Ram is said to have spent time in his exile. All these parties have used absence of Shankaracharyas, some Shankaracharyas from the event to target the organizers. However, mindful of how skipping the event may be perceived by people in the run-up to Lok Sabha elections, opposition leaders clearly don't want to be seen as hurting Hindu sentiments, but will saying yes to Lord Ram but no to the temple ceremony, which they argue is more political than religious, be a successful strategy, especially at a time when the event seems to have captured the imagination of all people. The dilemma is real here, and the pronouncements, sometimes at variance with the stated line, reflect just that. So is the opposition dousing the fire on the Ram temple issue, or on its own position, or trying to assuage the Hindus but not wanting to get into the domain of BJP's strengths of religion and identity? We'll discuss that today with a panel of experts, but first, a report on this.
Makar Sankranti, a day that marks a new beginning, but for the opposition, their Dharma Sankat seems to be persisting. Boycott BJP's Ram Mandir consecration show of strength, yet remain true to Ram in a fine balancing act. Senior Congress leaders, including those from Uttar Pradesh, took a dip in the Saryu chanting Jai Shri Ram.
श्री राम लल्ला जी के पावन दर्शन करके आशीर्वाद प्राप्ति के लिए हम यहाँ आए हैं। मैं पहले भी आता रहा।
आस्था प्रभु राम के प्रति, प्रभु कृष्ण के प्रति हमेशा से रही है।
This is Rahul Gandhi crisscrossed Manipur on day 2 of his Bharat Jodo Nyaya Yatra, soon after the Grand Old Party set the tone for the opposition by formally declining BJP's Ram Mandir consecration invite. Rahul will clearly keep the party busy with his yatra as the rest of the nation goes into the Jai Siya Ram mode, begging the question, is there a disconnect between the party and its workers?
उन्होंने आज तक राम मंदिर का विरोध किया, कोर्ट में भी इसके खिलाफ एफिडेविट दिए, और वही कांग्रेस के नेता आज पूरे देश का लोगों की नब्ज देखकर आज यहाँ पर मंदिर का दर्शन करने आ रहे हैं।
In Delhi, it was the Aam Aadmi Party's Ram Ke Naam moment. The party will kick off Sundarkand and Hanuman Chalisa parts across Delhi from Tuesday.
2600 से ज़्यादा जगहों पे सुंदरकांड का कार्यक्रम जो है आम आदमी पार्टी क्या करेगी। मुझे लगता है कि चाहे वो भारतीय जनता पार्टी हो या कोई और पार्टी हो, उनको इस चीज़ पे एतराज़ नहीं होना चाहिए।
On another front in Patna, Nitish Kumar got a warm welcome as he walked down to Lalu and Rabri Devi's residence with Lallan Singh in tow for the customary Sankranti Dahi Chura get-together. Tejasvi received the entourage at the gate. This breaking of bread between the allies comes amidst speculation about Nitish's role in the larger India bloc.
इनको पीएम का सपना दिखा करके इनको एनडीए गठबंधन से बाहर लाया गया, और आज इनके सपना को इनके बड़े भाई चकनाचूर कर रहे हैं।
In Uttar Pradesh, BSP Supremo Mayawati chose Sankranti to mark a fresh beginning of sorts. She said no to any pre-poll alliance, steering clear of the India bloc, though a pragmatic Behenji hasn't ruled out a post-poll alliance.
हमारी पार्टी सभी विरोधी पार्टियों से अपनी दूरी बना के रखेगी.
With Congress leaders chanting Jai Shri Ram slogans in Ayodhya, to Aam Aadmi Party deciding to take out a Sundarkand in Delhi, Clearly, in run-up to the Lok Sabha elections, politics is hotting up with Ram Mandir taking the center stage in national politics. In Ayodhya, with my camera colleague Pawan Kumar, Himanshu Shekhar for NDTV.
We have Smita Prakash, editor ANI, Pawan Verma, former MP, Rajya Sabha and former senior leader TMC and JDU. We have Sanju Verma, national spokesperson BJP, Tehseen Poonawalla, political analyst who supports the Congress, and Ghanshyam Tiwari, who is a Samajwadi Party spokesperson, joining us on this debate. Starting with you, Dr. Verma, how do you see this optics of decline when it comes to the opposition's position? Because clearly, they said one thing, but the optics of it now, the projection of how they are looking at it seems to be very different now.
My own view is that the opposition's reaction was ad hoc, confused, contradictory, and inconsistent. And there is a reason why I say it. You see, once you have welcomed the Supreme Court judgment as the basis for the construction of the Ram temple at Ayodhya, to then cavil about attending the inaugural ceremony is self-contradictory. You could say that we would happily attend, or if you were invited, or you could say it's a matter of great joy, but since the inauguration is only for a few, we will go with our cadres on another day and have a special ceremony on 9th of April or whenever Ram Navami is, which is what the correct day should have been. But to do neither of these, to remain undecided like the Congress first couldn't say yes or no to the invitation. Then they finally said no to it. They were unclear about whether to call it the politicization of the temple or to divert attention from it through the Nyaya Yatra. So I find the policy self-defeating for Akhilesh Yadav, who is in Chief Minister as the principal opposition, not to attend the opening of the Ram temple because it is being politicized while accepting that it's the consequence of a Supreme Court judgment. Of course, you have yourself put it, there will be politics, and the BJP has chosen a date where it will give it maximum dividends for the elections which are forthcoming. However, that was only to be expected. You had to have a strategy to dilute that impact while reposing faith in the Supreme Court judgment and Maryada Purushottam Ram. In that strategy, the opposition has failed.
Right. Sir, do you think that the opposition needs a better counter when it comes to, say, countering Hindutva or matters of faith? And what would your advice to the opposition be right now? Because a lot of unfortunate incidents that have happened in the past, including firing on the Karsevaks or somebody or the DMK calling, Lord Ram a myth, are being rigged now.
Frankly, now it's too late for substantial rectification or correction. We are literally in the lead up to the inauguration. And whatever damage has to be done has been done. Either you have a clear stand like the CPIM, that we do not attend religious events, especially which involve the Prime Minister and a particular community. But the other political parties, I'm not clear. I mean, here is a situation where Uddhav Thackeray's Shiv Sena was perhaps even more enthusiastic than the BJP in the making of the temple. They are not going. And here is a situation where the Congress, to be honest, is not, it's not that they're not going, they're not clear what their strategy is, you see. And by now, how do you rectify things? The momentum for the inauguration. And by the way, the meticulous work on the ground that has been done by BJP to prepare for this event. Akshat is being distributed in every village in North India at least. And it has created a huge ripple of support for the temple. And here there are important leaders of the opposition who have decided to boycott. So the BJP will milk the situation to the fullest. There were several options earlier where you could have said it's not the BJP event, it's an event of the nation. It's a result of a legal procedure. We will happily go, but not necessarily on the inaugural date. We will go on a certain date, or we will participate. But we request the BJP not to politicize it because it is not their decision. But the BJP having been at the forefront for the building of the Ram temple, let's concede that. Oh. I'm not saying the methods employed earlier were correct. When the masjid was demolished illegally, the action was amaryadit, which was not in conformity with Maryada Purushottam Ram. But this time a due process has been followed. And right. You have to have a strategy in order to meet this new situation.
Right. So that's a very interesting point, Smita Prakash. For more of this context setting, I was listening to Congress leader Deepinder Hooda today, and after his bath in the Saryu waters, he said that Ram sabke hain aur Ram sab mein hai, and he said that he has been to Ayodhya in the past, which is basically last year also. So do you believe that many of these programs that are being announced by the opposition now, be it Sundarkand recitals or visits to Panchvati, are in some ways an afterthought, because clearly the BJP and Prime Minister seem to have presented that development plan for Ayodhya. They have also, PM has also talked about his Yam Niyam rigorous processes that he'll follow. So from development to spirituality to civilization, there seems to be a lot of ground that has been covered here.
Well, Vasudha, I won't say that anything is wrong in saying that Ram sabke hain or sab mein Ram base hain. Nothing wrong in what they said. Whether politically they are too late in taking that stand or saying it, well, time will tell. The fact is that, everybody is seeing that there is a transformational shift which is happening in India. That period of shying away from one's faith or one's tradition, one's culture, whatever you might call it, because they're all overlapping at this stage. You can see it. They are not compartmentalized. They never were initially compartmentalized, but somewhere in that period of those decades of Nehruvian socialism, whether on the economic front or on the social front, it somehow took a backseat. Now this change that is coming about, one can either embrace it or one can keep one distance from it, but it is a reality. You can't be oblivious to that, especially if you're in a leadership position, Vasudha. Now you can be a business leader, you can be a politician, you can be an educationist, or even a religious head for that matter, of any sect. If you are in a leadership position and you cannot see that there is or you don't want to see that there is a changing landscape, that there is a collective consciousness of a nation which is coming to its own, and this Mandir is but a symbol of that coming to its own. And if you don't see that, then I'm afraid that you are redundant to the organization that you represent, whether the educational institution, a political party, it could be anything, or even a religious sect. The fact is that things are not going to alter regardless of the political dispensation which comes to power, in my opinion, Vasudha, in 2024. The BJP would have spearheaded this, Mr. Modi would have spearheaded this, but it's taken on a form of its own. And it'll be interesting to see in the next couple of years what form it takes as far as our collective consciousness is concerned and our political consciousness is concerned.
Right. That's a very important point. Sanjay Verma, do you think that the opposition does not want to be oblivious to the reality that is, that's so much out there for all of us to see? But do you also think that the lack of opposition in the ceremony will in some ways impact what at least the trust has been attempting to portray this, as an event to celebrate our civilizational resurrection and not a political event?
Vasudha, I just have a couple of points to make. First and foremost, I think this whole halabaloo and brouhaha that why is the BJP appropriating the legacy of Prabhu Ram? I have this to ask of the opposition. I will not even go into the hackneyed arguments which are out in the public domain that the Congress went knocking on the doors of the Supreme Court, denying the very existence of Lord Ram way back in 2007, saying that Lord Ram is a figment of the imagination of people within the BJP RSS bracket. Be that as it may, don't forget that when Narendra Modi was the General Secretary of Gujarat, he had started the Jan Jagran Abhiyan and collected 500 crore signatures by way of a signature campaign, which later became a rallying point for the Ram Mandir issue to be vaulted onto the national center stage of the Indian political landscape. Who started the Ram Yatra, the Rath Yatra? It was L.K. Advani, who fought on behalf of the BJP for months and years together. I recall one name prominently, that of Ravi Shankar Prasad. What did the Congress do? Their emissary Kapil Sibal actually said that, ya to Ram Mandir banega, ya to main Atmadah kar lunga. So the limited point I'm trying to make is that the BJP was treated as an untouchable and a pariah for the longest time, accused of engaging in majoritarianism only because it wanted Ram Temple to come up at Ram Janmabhoomi. And I ask, what's the big deal? Don't the followers of Jesus celebrate his teachings at his birthplace in Bethlehem? Don't the followers of Jainism celebrate Vardhaman Mahavir and his teachings at Kundalpura in modern day Bihar? Don't the followers of Gautam Buddha celebrate his teachings with pomp and gaiety at Lumbini in Nepal? So I'm trying to make the limited point that it is because Hindus are inherently secular that, we waited for over 500 years to claim what was always ours for the taking and ours for the asking. And Narendra Modi gave a voice to millions of Indians, because I tell you this, I've been on a zillion debates, and prior to 2014, let's not kid ourselves, Vasudha.
Right.
Forget about wearing bhagwa, wearing a rudraksh or wearing the sacred kalva on your wrist or smearing your head with vibhuti. It was considered non-kosher. And today, I can say with a lot of confidence that saying that I'm a proud practicing Hindu is completely kosher.
Let me get Ghanshyam Tiwari on this, because there is, of course, a sense of religiosity, increased religiosity, and there's also pride in that, and I'm sure there's nothing wrong with it as long as it doesn't harm anyone. But Mr. Tiwari, but at least with respect to this event, because like Smita was saying, and also Sanju, a lot of people seem to think that this was also a mass movement. I know that a lot of people also think that this was a political movement, but shouldn't politics, it could have been set aside and, a consensus could have been arrived, because this is a significant event. Do you think electorally that would have been a better call for your party?
Good evening, Vasudha, to you, my fellow co-panelists and the viewers. There are, I think on NDTV, I did not expect that I'll be doing fact-checking, but in December 22, December 23, all the major news channels, including NDTV, Aaj Tak, Hindustan, ABP News, everyone carried this fact check that Kapil Sibal never said that he will immolate himself if the Ram Temple is not built. But this is the state of BJP, that on a national platform, a lie is presented. All of us, the senior journalists like you, Smita Prakash, will nod our head, and this will be the revitalization of fake news. That's one. As far as my party is concerned, we have clearly stated, and there's a letter by Akhilesh Yadav ji that clearly says to the Ram Janmabhoomi Mandir Trust, to Champat Rai ji, that इस निमंत्रण के लिए धन्यवाद एवं समारोह के सकुशल संपन्न होने की हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं। हम प्राण प्रतिष्ठा के समारोह के पश्चात सपरिवार दर्शनार्थी बनकर अवश्य आएंगे। This is after 3-4 days of propaganda that BJP played out, that we have sent the letter, we have not sent the letter, and this is what is happening. So my summary point is this, that BJP wants the entire national agenda to be hijacked by the fact, by the outrage or by the devotion of who attends the event on 22nd or not. When the Shankaracharyas are not attending, when people are saying temple is incomplete, that's point one. And to say that what is more outrageous, and to say that now we are in India where religion will take center stage, I do not think so. I don't think that anyone here will send their children to a religious school. You send your children to school to build a career. It is only BJP who believes that the leaders of their children should study abroad, while their followers should go and have religion.
I'll come to you, Sanju, but we're running short of time, and I want to get the last word from Tehseen. Tehseen, how do you see this battle of narratives? Because on one hand, you see this whole emphasis on constitutional identity, but there's also this massive question of faith, and you can't deny that religion forms a very important, integral part of our everyday lives, and to tell people that they're part of a political project might be actually very insulting.
Vasudha, good evening. A very happy Pongal to you, to your family members, to the viewers of NDTV, and to all my fellow panelists, and a very happy Makar Sankranti. As we say in Maharashtra, and Sanjuji will note that, till gul gaya, ani god god bola. So it's time to speak. Well, it's a happy occasion. Look, the fact is, Indian secularism isn't like French secularism, right? So in Indian secularism, religion is an integral part of it. Of course, the BJP will exaggerate something. First things are happening before 2014. I mean, we were all proud of our culture prior to 2014, and there's no denying that. It's maybe the BJP is living in some land and they believe that the culture or our religious identity has grown after 2014, but that's not the truth. But I agree and I concede to some of the points, and the points is that the India Alliance could have handled this issue better. And I'm saying this as a supporter of the India Alliance who wants to see the BJP defeated. So when this invitation came, you should have had a position. Having no position is worse than having a confused position. So you should have had a position. Now, I just want everyone to understand. Let's imagine Rahul ji, Sonia ji, Akhilesh ji, Nitish ji, Tejaswi, Lalu ji, everyone going together as one unit. And then the Prime Minister. From NDTV to ANI, two of you all are here, would have to cover them in any case.
Right.
So there is no point in, so you would have got that space. The idea is to take what you get and to put your message out to the people. That is what politics is. Unfortunately for the opposition, we are stuck between what do we do, and sometimes that's very bad in politics, not taking a decision. One last thing that I would like to say, the BJP will try and take credit for this magnificent temple that has come up.
Okay,
but let's remember this temple has
but
come
we
up.
get your point that, you know, consistency is what matters. Sanju, I'm sorry, I'll come to you next time, but consistency is what, probably that was lacking in the opposition's position. But yes, Ram sabke hain, Ram sab mein hain, that seems to be the flavor, at least of today, and that seems to be the opposition's mantra now as it tries to dodge the Ram temple question without, of course, upsetting the Hindus. That's all we have for you in this show. More news and updates on the other side.